What's up? What's up? What's good? I got a lot of people in here already. Yeah, this is a hot topic right here. This is a hot topic. Yeah, Israel Adesanya after his fight against Jared Cannonier. Yeah, people are calling it boring. It wasn't exciting. Izzy is spamming leg kicks. This has become a trend. Like, what are we seeing here? What's going on with Izzy? You call yourself pound for pound best, but your fights are looking like this. What's happening? All right. And I see a lot of people are passionate about this, but I've been watching the sport long enough. I've seen this before. And y'all see in the cover, if you're on the thumbnail of my Maurice Spears YouTube page, you'll see it. Tommy Toho said the same thing. This was said about Anderson Silva when he had a streak of boring fights. And there are a lot of new MMA fans who are coming in after Connor and Ronda. He brought in a new fan base. So they don't realize this happens. This happened with Anderson Silva. It happened in this fight. He had 3 fights, and I wrote them down because I gotta remind myself. He had it with Damian Maya, Patrick Cote, and I think Thales Latis. I forgot to say his name, but he had 3 fights. And sometimes all it takes is 3 fights. I know most of his fights were exciting. They're knockouts. Most of the time, it just takes a couple of fights for you to get that reputation of being boring. So Dana White was threatening to not have him fight again. He's like, I'm not going to have Anderson Silva come back and fight again. He said himself that he was going to refund the ticket prices to the fans or in the pay-per-views because it was so disappointing. Now I think it was the one against Damian Maya when they had it in Dubai when he was trying to impress people in the Dubai, all the people who were financing the fights, and the fight turned out to be boring. He was apologizing. But the reason is because Anderson Silva, similar to Izzy, to Israel Adesanya, they are both counter fighters, counter punchers, counter strikers, I'll say. And when you fight a counter striker, the opponent needs to be aggressive. They have to be aggressive because if you're not aggressive, he's just going to say, all right, I'm just going to kick you from a distance. I'm going to do this from a distance. They want to bait the fighter in so they could counter them. That's just how they're built. So it's not at this point we should know how Izzy is. It's not on Izzy, it's on the opponent. The opponent has to go in there and make it exciting. You got to go in there. Chael did the same thing. When Chael Sonnen fought Anderson Silva, Chael said, I'm not going to do what these other fighters are doing. I'm going to come at him. I'm going to put my head in his chest, and I'm going to make him fight. And that's what Chael did. And Chael nearly defeated Anderson Silva because he made the fight happen. He went at him, and he dug his head into his chest, took him down, and he made it a rough fight. So that's what Izzy's opponents will have to do. You just got to go there and do it. Now, there's a chance you could get knocked out because that's what happened with Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker came in there too aggressive the first fight. He came in there too aggressive, and he ended up getting countered. This is what happened. This is why a lot of opponents are hesitant to go in there because you could get countered. So it's easier said than done. Like that's what I'm saying. It's on the opponent, but it's easier said than done because if you just go in there and try to throw some strikes at him and leg kicks, he's going to counter you real quick. Next thing you know, you get hit with that shot you didn't see and you're knocked out, which was what happened with Robert Whitaker. So Izzy is similar to Anderson Silva in that regards. And also when it comes to boxing, it's similar to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had the same reputation that Izzy's dealing with right now. That you're boring, your fights suck, people are leaving the arena before the fight ends. This happened with Floyd Mayweather when he fought Carlos Baldomir. If any of y'all are old enough to remember that fight, when he fought Carlos Baldomir, there was a fight before Oscar De La Hoya. All right, so Mayweather isn't a superstar yet. This is supposed to be the fight that hypes Mayweather up. Mayweather at the time was the pound for pound #1 fighter. People were like, "This dude is boring." So he fights Carlos Baldomir, and the fight was like, according to the fans, it was boring, and everybody was leaving the stadium. So same thing is happening with Izzy right now. But what it takes is for an opponent to press the action against a fighter like this, for the fight to be exciting. That's the key. All right. Izzy is not going to press the action. He's a counter striker. He can press it if he wants, but he's just built to be a counter striker. He's an analytical fighter. And you see other fighters like this, and my thing is other fighters get a pass when it comes to this. Peter Yan is the same way. Peter Yan is not aggressive. He's a fighter just like Izzy, who kind of downloads data. He kind of plays the conservative. Then he looks at your mistakes and he counters you. These are counter fighters. So you can't expect the Izzy to fight like that. If you realize that, it comes down to the opponent. So you need somebody like Chael Sonnen to fight Izzy, who's just going to, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go right into Izzy. If I got to take a punch, I got to take a punch. I'm going to take that punch. And that's what Chael Sonnen did. So it's going to take that fighter. And people are thinking it's going to be Alex Pereira. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. They're thinking it's going to be Alex. The way I see it, that fight may be a little, it may not be that exciting either. Y'all seen what happened? Y'all seen the fight with his fight against Sean Strickland. Y'all are thinking like, man, this is going to be the fight right here. Izzy against Alex Pereira. This is going to be an exciting fight. Wow, he's going to really make it exciting for Izzy. He's going to challenge Izzy. It may be similar to this fight. They're just both playing it safe because there's a lot on the line. So it's not going to be an Alex Pereira, although it's possible because this is MMA. This is combat sports, so anything can happen. But it may be a fighter that has multiple losses, but that just has a style that could give Izzy trouble. And it's like Kevin Gastelum, right? Kevin Gastelum, he was never on anybody's pound for pound list. He's not as tall as Izzy. He's not like this super, build up muscular guy like Paulo Costa. People thought he had a chance because he was a bodybuilder. No, he just had great footwork. He knew he knew how to gauge his distance with Izzy, and he made it competitive. So that's what it takes. It takes some guy that y'all may not expect to be competitive with Izzy, because everybody's expecting it to be Alex because he knocked him out in K1. So I just think most people, most MMA fans, tend to get too emotional about certain things and not look at things logically. If you know Izzy's style, he's a counter puncher. He's not going to go in there aggressive. And also, it takes two to tango, which is on a thumbnail on my Morehouse Media YouTube page. So check that out. When he fought Yoel Romero fights the same way Izzy does in a certain way. He's a counter striker. He waits, and then if you make a mistake, he'll hit you. But he's just stronger than Izzy. So when he makes somebody pay for coming in aggressive on him, they tend to get knocked out. And this is what happened with Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman, and multiple fighters. They're actually winning against Yoel, and they got comfortable, and the Yoel exploded on them. So when Izzy and Yoel fought, if you know fighting styles, you should have known before that fight happened that it was not going to be an exciting fight, because Yoel never presses the action. He always waits, and then he gets you comfortable, then he strikes, and he'll just he'll get you out of nowhere, or he'll hit you with a crazy knee out of nowhere. That's his style. So you got two counter fighters like Yoel and Izzy fighting each other. It's just going to be a battle of who's going to make a mistake first. Not this crazy fight that y'all imagine, like it's just going to be this battle and Yoel's going to come in there swinging. Yoel never fights that way. He's a counter fighter. So it takes a fighter that goes in there and rushes in to make the fight exciting. Just like with Usman, right? People call it Usman boring. He had the reputation of being boring. That's why his name is Snoozman, right? Y'all call him Snoozman, right? What's his name? Kobe Covington came in there, coming forward. I'm going to press the action. And the fight turned out to be exciting because he just came in there. And even Gilbert Burns, you come in there swinging, and then Usman just happened to learn with Trevor Whitman, improve his jab and his striking, and he countered him. And then it made for more of an exciting fight than his previous fights, because the reason why Usman's fight against Tyron Woodley was boring or wasn't as exciting, because Tyron Woodley, in a way, is also a counter puncher, a counter fighter who tends to wait, and then he'll strike. He'll throw that. I think he has that right hook, that strong right hook. He did it to Robbie Lawler too. He kind of baited him in, and he did it to Wonderboy Thompson too. So the real issue is that MMA fans don't understand styles. They tend to not get it. If you understand styles, then you know what you're getting yourself into before the fight starts. You'll know what you're getting yourself into. So if you got an Izzy going against a Yoel and you know these two styles, you'll know, okay, this fight may not be exciting. So I'm not going to expect this crazy war. There's a huge chance that this fight is going to be more conservative. And that's how it may turn out when Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira fight. It's going to be a chess match. It may be similar to Israel Adesanya when he fought Anderson Silva, although that was an older Anderson Silva. It's going to be a chess match. They're going to test each other's skills. So it may be like that. It's not going to be this war that y'all want, because that's how most fans want it. They want this crazy war. But I will say most of those fighters who give you the war that you want, who will give you that action-packed fight, those fighters are unappreciated when they fall off. When they start falling off after taking all that punishment, they're not appreciated, because once they fall off, fans will leave them and go to the next person. This is what happened. I think that's what happened with Chuck Liddell. Once Chuck Liddell started falling off, people were telling him to retire. Get out of here, retire. You're getting knocked out. We don't want to see you no more. But Chuck Liddell's like, I still want to fight. I did all this for y'all. I still want to fight. I still have more money than I need to make. But y'all telling him to get out of there, retire. You know, you're past your prime. You're over the hill. We don't want to see you fight no more. But this dude took all this punishment to his face, brain like damn near like CTE and shit. I'm not sure if he got it, but he did this all for y'all, and y'all are cheering for it. Then once you fall off and you can't do it the same way anymore, y'all just kind of push him to the side, because there's going to be a new, fresh guy, a younger guy that's going to give y'all that entertainment the older guy like Chuck Liddell can't give you anymore. So that's why I say those fighters who are giving you crowd-pleasing fights, at the end of the day, they're going to leave bitter, because y'all don't want to see them fight no more because they can't pull the trigger. And this is going to happen. Oh, yeah, also I want to say, the fighters who are crowd-pleasing, who are action-packed fighters, they don't necessarily sell pay-per-views. People don't want to buy their pay-per-views based on their fights. People buy pay-per-views based on their name, on the name and the hype they could generate. That's why you see Clay Guida. What's his name? Clay Guida. Clay Guida. He's one of the most exciting fighters in MMA in the UFC. I'll guarantee you, if he headlined a pay-per-view, y'all wouldn't buy it. It'll be a couple of people who will buy it, but if he headlined a pay-per-view, you guys will be like, why is this guy headlining the pay-per-view? The same guy that gives you all that exciting fights, if he headlined the pay-per-view, y'all will be like, why is this guy headlining? Y'all don't want to see him headline a fight, but he's bringing the entertainment. Y'all want to see those type of fighters like on the undercard. So they got to be like number 4 or 3 on the undercard. Those are y'all like those type of fighters there. So, but those fighters aren't making the best money. So at the end of the day, y'all got to realize styles make fights. That's why if a fighter loses to somebody who has let's say somebody who has a losing record, but then they fight somebody who has a winning record, who's undefeated, depending on the style, that fighter who has a losing record will be the more difficult fight than the guy who's beating everybody else, because it's based on the style that works in your favor. And this can happen to Max Holloway too. He lost to Volk. His stock kind of goes down now. So let's see, Max Holloway always brings the action. He always brings the entertainment when it comes to his fights. Let's see Dana put him on a headliner status for another pay-per-view. Let's see how many people buy that pay-per-view. Is it going to be $1 million pay-per-view? Is it even going to sell 500,000? I doubt it. So it doesn't matter if you're providing entertainment with your fights, if you're exciting during your fights, that's not going to equal pay-per-view buys. So when people say Izzy's boring, his pay-per-view numbers are going to drop, people aren't going to buy him anyway. It all depends on if you're winning, if you're dominating, and if the next guy has a possibility of beating you. So his next fight against Alex Pereira, if I'm saying his name correctly, his next fight against him is going to sell a lot because there's intrigue. So people believe that he can beat Izzy. That's what's going to sell the fight. But what y'all don't realize, that fight can possibly be boring too. None of them are going to press the action. There's a chance that neither one of them are going to press the action. It's going to be another fight that can be boring. It could possibly be a decision, especially if it turns out to be a decision in Izzy's favor. It's going to be the same reaction people had when Aljamain Sterling defeated Peter Yan. There's going to be a lot of disappointment. People be like, man, that's why I see that fight, that Izzy fight against Alex Pereira. I see it being a close fight that people think Alex won, but Izzy won the fight. Izzy's going to win the fight, but people are going to think that Alex Pereira won the fight. So my prediction at this moment is that's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a chess match, and people are going to think Alex won the fight, but Izzy's going to end up getting the win. And so there's going to be a controversy after the fight. People are going to say, Izzy has the judges in his pockets. He's buying off the judges. The UFC just wants him to be a star. All the stuff you see in the comments is going to happen for this next fight. You're going to be disappointed because Alex may not be the one that makes a Izzy fight exciting. It's going to be another fighter who doesn't necessarily have pound for pound status, but it's that type of fighter who's willing to go in there and take punishment, take a punch to give a punch, take a strike to give a strike, like Chael Sonnen with Anderson Silva, like I said before. So that's what it's going to take. So I'm going to read some of these comments, but that's my little tangent on what's going on. And people are saying Anderson Silva was never labeled boring. He was labeled boring. He had a reputation. But what happened was they put him in there against Forrest Griffin, who was the type of fighter that will go towards Anderson Silva. And that was a tailor-made fight for Anderson Silva because Forrest Griffin's easy to hit, and that's great for somebody like Anderson Silva. So you got to highlight fight out of Anderson Silva. And who else? Yeah, George St. Pierre was labeled boring later in his career. He was exciting at first, I would say. He was one of the first fighters that were doing the Superman punch and some of these other things we see in MMA today. But then when he fought Matt Serra and he got knocked out, he had to change it. He's like, you know what? I can't do this no more. I can't fight this way. This is not a good fight for me. I can't fight this way. I don't want to get knocked out. I'm very aware of my brain. When I retire, why get the money if you can't enjoy the money? That's how GSP talk. GSP is like an AI machine. Sometimes I believe GSP is AI. Like he's some type of AI algorithm that's being controlled by somebody like Elon Musk or somebody like controlled by some type of Bluetooth technology or something. This is not the correct fight. I'm not making the right logical decision. You sound just like an algorithm. If algorithm had a face, it'll be GSP. Oh, are you real? I'm sorry, I'm picking my nose. Nose kind of itching. I don't give a fuck. I'll pick my boobs. I'll flick it on the screen. All right, so what else? Let me read some of these comments because I know they're going to be crazy. I was pretty entertained, honestly. I thought Jared could have pushed a lot more than he did. He was legit fearful of Izzy. Yeah, that's the problem. See, that's what people need to realize. Yes, you could go in there and you could press action against Izzy, but you're going to pay a price. You're going to pay a price. You're going to end up getting countered. So it's easier said than done. But Izzy is who he is. He's always been a counter striker. So y'all got to realize what y'all getting yourselves into with these fights. Let me what's the next one? He said it's on him to make it exciting because all the noise he was making in the buildup, he was putting on. He put the pressure on himself. People wouldn't care as much otherwise. Every fighter, a lot of fighters say things like that. They're gonna knock a fighter out. It's called hype. Like Kobe Covington when he fought Usman, he said, "You're dead. When I fight you, you're dead. You're dead." He said he's gonna kill him. You're dead. Did that happen? No, it didn't. But did it get people to buy the pay-per-view? Yes, it did. So if you're aware of hype and things like that, you should be aware that more than likely that's not going to happen. You can't fall for the bait. Don't fall for the bait. So y'all know next time when Izzy fights again, he says something like that again, don't fall for it. He said that last time with Yoel. He said he's going to stop Yoel, and it didn't happen. Y'all said the same thing here. So just be aware that it's called hype. He's building excitement. At the end of the day, Izzy made a lot of money. This is called hype. Kobe does it. Kobe is doing it too. He's building hype. So you don't have to fall for it. Y'all should know that by now, unless y'all are new fans. Izzy a very smart fighter and will counter you. Jared is 38 and it's probably his last shot. You have to take major risk if you plan on beating Izzy. Kevin took those. Yeah, Kelvin took those. And y'all also got to realize Kelvin, I was looking at his footwork. He has good footwork. Like he knows how to move in and out. He just it's like Kelvin Gastelum I want to compare it to boxing. When Mayweather fought Jose Luis Castillo, look up Jose Luis Castillo, right? He wasn't this super strong guy. He wasn't like very fast. It was just he just seemed like he was just he came off average. That's how it seemed like he came off like was nothing special about him. But he came the closest to beating Floyd Mayweather. Look up that first fight. He came close to beating Floyd Mayweather. He just knew all the fundamentals. He just had the fundamentals that gave Mayweather some trouble. Now there's some speculation that Mayweather hurt his shoulder in that fight. He had a shoulder injury, but I don't really buy into excuses. All right, it is what it is. He hurt his shoulder. You gotta find a way to win. Mayweather found a way to win. But at the end of the day, Jose Luis Castillo was a problem for him. And sometimes it just takes a guy who just knows how to, work they have good footwork. They know when to throw that jab. They know when to throw that hook at the right time. Not somebody who's just strong or fast. Because you can be as fast as you can, but if you're not throwing it at the right time, if you're not smart, somebody can easily beat you. So it takes smarts in this game and fundamentals. Izzy is a great fighter, but he pales in comparison to Anderson. Not only did Anderson not need all the gimmicky stuff, he had exactly two boring fights. He also had the Patrick Cote fight. He said Maya and Latis. He had the Patrick Cote fight. I think that one also. But y'all know it was a big deal. It was a huge deal. Like right now, Izzy's getting criticized for this fight for being boring. Back then, it was a huge deal. People are pissed off at those two fights. So all it takes, and also this is what it takes with Izzy. If Izzy goes in there and he just starches Alex Pereira, he knocks him out. He comes in there and just wipes him out. All this will be gone. People will just hop right back on Izzy's bandwagon. People will forget quick. And this is what happened with Kamaru Usman. Usman had a crazy reputation just recently of being boring. His name was Snoozman, right? All of a sudden he started coming out with the jab against Gilbert Burns, and even after the Gilbert Burns, people were on the side. But then he fought Jorge in a fight that when he was doing the toe stomping, and it came back. We were like, "Oh, you're boring," and then he came back after that fight and knocked Jorge out. So then people are like, so it's a whole back and forth. That's how it is with MMA fans. They'll jump off the bandwagon, hop back on, jump off, depending on the fight. So all it takes is one fight, and then people will just hop back on the bandwagon. So a lot of fans are very wishy-washy there. Oh, I love them now, and then, oh, I don't like this fight, so I hate you now. You can hate me now. So that's how you are. A lot of people are. Yeah, Izzy said, I'm here to show off, then proceeds to put on the safest, most boring performance. He's hyping up the fight. Getting y'all to buy it. He said this before on the Yoel Romero fight. He's getting y'all to buy the fight. Y'all should know this already. Especially after his last couple of fights. Like his fight with Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker played it safe this time. He wasn't like he didn't do what he did last time where he was coming in aggressive. So he had to play it at a distance. So depending on the opponent, it's up to them to make the fight exciting. Y'all should know this is not up to Izzy at this point. He's a counterpuncher. And if Izzy tries to be too aggressive, it's not going to play into his hands. He's going to end up getting knocked out because that's not who he is. If he comes in there all super aggressive, he's going to get knocked out. There's a huge chance he gets knocked out. So, yeah, people got to stop switching up on people. And now everybody likes Volkanovski right now. Most people like Volkanovski after he defeated Max Holloway. But y'all got to remember, before that, all of y'all couldn't stand Volkanovski. Y'all couldn't stand Volk. Y'all claiming Max Holloway was robbed. And now, after he put on that great performance against Max, everybody's hopping on the bandwagon for Volkanovski now. Now he's number one pound for pound. Now everybody loves him now. It's crazy how it switches up, right? You would never think that Izzy would get more hate than Usman. Usman was getting most of the hate at first, and Izzy was kind of getting some love. Now lately it's switched up, so now Izzy's getting most of the hate. Usman's getting more love, And we've seen that with his press conference against Leon Edwards. Now people are starting to warm up to him. He's not cringe anymore. Y'all gotta stop that. Oh shit, what happened here? Let me move up. I just seen a comment that I want to. Yeah, Anderson Silva was an absolute killer. Most of his fights are rewatchable again and again. Yeah, if I had a choice to watch Anderson Silva fights or Israel Adesanya fights, I watch Anderson Silva. I don't think anybody's saying Izzy is more exciting than Anderson Silva. They're just saying Anderson Silva had a reputation at a point of being boring because he went through a streak of boring fights. I think he like 3 out of 4 fights he had were boring. And then he'll I forgot what the order of it was. It was so long ago, but he'll have a boring fight, then have another boring fight, then he'll have an exciting fight where you knock somebody out crazy. Then the next fight after that, when people got back on the side, it'll be another boring fight. And I think that's what happened. People like, then they're all like confused and stuff like, man, are you going to be exciting consistently? So then he ended up getting Chael Sonnen, and Chael Sonnen was talking about that. He's like, these other fighters are scared. I'm going to go into your chest. I'm going to put my head in your chest. I'm going to grind you to the ground, pause, and I'm going to press the action. And that's what he did. And it got people excited about the fight because Chael Sonnen talks mess. And well, I will say this about Chael. He'll actually do what he says. You know, he said he's gonna do that to Anderson Silva, and he did it. So I'll give him credit for that. No, not any fighter who plays it safe should get the boot. I've seen better fights in parking lot McDonald's when you fight like Rose. No, he shouldn't get the boot. No, that's not right. Now you have an option of paying for a fight when it comes to a fighter who's boring. Like if a fighter's boring, you don't want to pay for their pay-per-views, you don't have to pay for the pay-per-views. Just don't watch the fights. Now, a McDonald's fight, y'all all know that fight's only gonna last not even a minute. If any of y'all got in a street fight, you know you get tired quick. If you're not in spectacular shape and you're getting into a fight at McDonald's on a parking lot, that fight's gonna be at the most a minute and a half. And then if it goes longer than that, that's because one guy got floored and he's getting slowly beat up. You know, the guy on top of him hitting him like, motherfucker. Told your ass. Fucking with me. Dude on top is exhausted. Most of those McDonald's fights are people who are out of shape, got a belly hanging out, beer belly. One dude swinging around, falling on himself, tripping on himself. Those fights are not exciting. I don't like World Star Hip Hop fights. I like watching fights between skilled opponents who actually know how to do who could do a question mark kick or just could throw a proper jab. See his tweet I got. Okay. All right. He said, hello, everybody. I don't think it was boring. It's just too late. A little too late for. Yeah, he didn't. Once again, the opponent needs to press the action against Izzy. We need the opponent to do it. If y'all don't like Izzy, y'all got to put this pressure on the opponent. They got to do it. Because if they don't do it, Izzy going to win. If y'all don't like Izzy, y'all got to put this pressure on the opponent. He has to do it. Not Izzy. Izzy's like, look, I'm winning. Izzy's consistently winning. Because Izzy's going to win at a distance. He's going to if I got a leg kick you, then I got a leg kick you. As long as I got that belt, I'm going to get paid more money. I'm going to get the pay-per-view points. Why would I risk that? Because at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day, it's about money. Izzy's number one priority is to win and make as much money as he can before he retires. His number one priority is his family and his friends, not the fans. He loves the fans. Believe me, he loves the fans. But he has to take care of himself, his family, and his friends. That's what he's. Those are his priorities, and that happens if he keeps winning. So as long as he has that belt, he's gonna get more of those pay-per-view points. Because I think it's gonna be like a Mayweather situation where people are going to tune in to see him lose. Now, if he could tap into that, it could increase his pay-per-views. So I think he's saying all the right things outside the octagon. You know, talking about anime and yeah, Sean Strickland was getting the best of Izzy in that press conference. I watched that like, man, he was countering it. See, Sean Strickland was countering everything Izzy was saying, the same way Izzy was countering, the same way Izzy countered people who come at him. Sean Strickland was countering everything Izzy was saying. I was like, wow. What did he say? I forgot what he said exactly, but yeah, especially at the end. Don't tell me what not to do. Tell me what not to do. Izzy didn't tell him what not to do. So then Sean Strickland ended up getting knocked out. So Izzy's like, no, I ain't gonna tell you what not to do. Because I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. We seen what happened, right? He got knocked out. He got knocked out bad by Alex. And so what else? What else? Yeah. All he has to worry about is winning. If you're a fighter in the UFC, the worst thing you could do is try to please the fans. Do not try to please the fans in the octagon. You could try to please them outside of the octagon. You could, do all, do memes and joke around with the fans. But if you try to please the fans in the octagon, and this goes for boxing as well, you're going to end up bitter at the end of your career. Because if you start taking all that damage, you're going to fall off quicker. And then fighters are not going to want to watch you anymore because you can't fight the same way anymore. It's going to come back to hunt you. And then you're going to end up with some CTE shit because you took too many hits. So do not fight for the fans. Fight for yourself. Fight to win. Fans were leaving the arena before round 5 started because they didn't care. That's the big problem, whether people want to admit it. Yeah, the fight, it just didn't happen the way they wanted it to happen. They wanted it to be more of a competitive fight. But that's not the game, man. This is not WWE where it's scripted. This is not scripted fights. This is actually real martial arts. I know the UFC is an entertainment entity, but this is not scripted. This is not the movies. The movies are scripted. Movies are not real life. That's why people love Rocky. Rocky was scripted. In real life, Rocky would not be Rocky would not be where he's at on the movie. Rocky would have got knocked out a long time ago. Apollo Creed would have fucked Rocky up in real life. Rocky beats Apollo Creed in the second movie. Real life, he gets knocked out. All right, stop. What's his name? Drago. Drago would have killed Rocky in real life. And that's what people want. They want a movie. They want something scripted. They want WWE. But this is real life, man. You ain't getting that. Yep. I would say the most boring fight was Rose versus Carla. Then I say, yeah, Rose versus Carla. I predicted, if you look at my past lives, I predicted that fight was going to be the so-called boring fight. Because, once again, the styles make fights. Excuse me. Just dropping by to salute and press the like. Hope everybody pushes. Yeah, press the like button. Press the like button. Thank you, Clean Black Sneaks. Thank you. Yeah, press these likes, man. Show some support. I'm trying to push these remixes out for y'all, man. My pages. I want to try to put out some more remixes, but man, this page is falling off a little bit. But it shouldn't be about that. But man, this is the algorithm is not on my side. It just takes long for me to make the remixes. Like I'm trying to put out Usman and Leon Edwards' Let's Wrestle remix. The beat is dope, man. The song is great. It's a great song. But by the time I finish it, man, people are kind of forgetting about the Let's Wrestle thing. So I can never tap into what's trending. It kind of takes time because I gotta work. I got other stuff I gotta do. So I can't just focus on my remixes. I gotta like work on it like maybe an hour here and there. Then I gotta go to work. So it's just hard for me to take advantage of the algorithm. So Israel Adesanya said a quote that everybody's pushing out, that frozen like Elsa quote. I seen that. I'm like, man, I could remix that too. But then by the time I get to it, the trend is going to die down. So it may not. I may not be able to capitalize off it. So I do enjoy making the remixes, but I would like to get some more out of it because it takes time, and I'm putting a lot of time into that. So we'll see. That's why I'm trying to get these remixes up. Algorithm is not on my side. I would rate the fight. Yeah, this is another fight that had a bad reputation. Wonder Boy versus Woodley. The first one, people were saying it was exciting because Woodley hit Wonder Boy with a crazy punch, I think with his right hand, and Wonder Boy managed to survive through that. And that fight was not labeled boring. The second one was. The second one was. See, Tyron Woodley, he was dealing with that too. People calling him boring. Yeah, Izzy was more exciting. He used to throw hands. Anderson Silva threw hands when the people pressed him. If you watch his fights, he took a while. Like he'll take a while, he'll move around, and then by the time you come at him, then he starts throwing his hands and countering you. The problem with the problem, Maurice, is Izzy kept talking constantly about how exciting he destroyed. None of that happened. Sometimes it's better to stay quiet. Yeah, you can say that, but if you want to build hype for your pay per view, you're gonna need to say something like that. There's a lot of fans of Robert Whitaker, right? A lot of people are fans of Robert Whitaker. They talk about how humble he is, how nice of a guy he is. But how many pay per views does how many pay per views have Robert Whitaker sold? The guy who doesn't say things like Izzy, the guy that stays quiet. How many pay per views did he sell? He didn't sell that many pay per views. You don't sell pay per views being quiet unless you just got that it factor to you. If you want to sell pay per views, you're gonna have to say stuff like what Izzy's saying, even if you don't deliver it, because that may actually help you because now people are mad at you. If people are mad at you, people are angry at you, that's a good thing. He said if only Izzy put as much effort into his offense as he does painting his nails. He may not be painting his nails. It might be somebody else doing that. Hey, that's Izzy. Izzy being Izzy. You got to stand out. Am I going to paint my nails? No, I'm not painting my nails. My nails going to stay this color. See, my nails ain't black, blue, or nothing. They're going to stay white. I'm not messing with my nails. Only time I mess with my nails if I got to clip them. If I got to use my nail clipper. This is the only thing that's going to be on my nails right here. Just nail clipper. Nails ain't going to be all long and shit like Freddy Krueger or Sabretooth. They're going to stay short. And I ain't scratching nobody. Sometimes people with nails be black. I've seen a couple people with brown fingernails because they got all that dirt in them. You know when you're a kid, you used to let your nails grow out too far and you got all that dirt in your nails. See, my nails are perfectly trimmed. Perfect. I have the best nails in the game. The best nails. My nails are trimmed so perfectly. I trim my nails many, many, many times. The greatest nails ever. No one has nails like me. Not even Izzy. Izzy cannot compare with my nails. People claim that my hands are small. Well, fuck you. My hands are small, but my nails are beautiful. Everything is great. Many, many nails have been clipped. Many, many years. Donald Trump has the most beautiful nails ever. The most beautiful nails. Look at my nails. All right, let me get back on subject. When you say you're going to do something, it's normal to receive backlash. It's normal. Yeah, it's normal to see backlash. He already received backlash. I'm just talking about why it's not on him. Y'all should know already that if Izzy says he's going to make it exciting for his next fight and it doesn't happen, y'all should know he's going to say this every time. I got to stop falling for it. Stop falling for it. Realize, look at the style matchups. Look at, is this guy aggressive? If this guy's not an aggressive fighter that's fighting Izzy, it's not going to be exciting because we know Izzy's not going to press the action. If y'all know how Izzy fights, y'all should know this. He said this is what makes Conor the GOAT. He comes out to fight. Yeah, he comes out to fight, but it's not his fights that makes him the GOAT. He's not really the GOAT. But it's his trash talk. It's his charisma. Conor has so much charisma. He was saying crazy stuff in the octagon after his fights. But look at Conor now. He's losing. He's losing a lot. So it's going to be a matter of time. If he loses his next fight, his pay-per-view is going to drop. Now you got to start winning. I don't care how exciting your fights are. If you're not winning, your pay-per-views are going to drop. So he has to win. He has to start winning. So I don't know if he's going to fight Chandler or if he's going to fight Oliveira. I believe he's going to fight Chandler next. I want to see Conor McGregor fight Chandler. That's the fight I want to see. That's going to be exciting. Now that's going to be exciting based on styles. So don't listen to the trash talk between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler saying it's going to be exciting. Ignore that. That's what y'all need to do with Izzy. Ignore what he's saying is going to happen. Look at the style matchups. Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor, based on their styles, will be an exciting fight because they're both aggressive. They both come forward. So that's going to make for an exciting fight. Just like we knew what was going to happen with Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje. These two are aggressive fighters. They didn't have to say that they were going to be that this fight was going to be exciting. We knew it based on their styles. They both come forward. They're both throwing crazy punches, and the fight turned out to be exciting. Y'all keep falling for Izzy. Izzy is not that type of fighter. Izzy is a more analytical fighter who he's going to go in there, get out like Mayweather. I don't know how many times Mayweather said Mayweather had so-called boring fights. People were saying, I'm never buying a Mayweather pay-per-view again. Then they turn around and buy their pay-per-view again. Y'all just said y'all weren't going to buy his pay-per-views again. Just like if he comes back now and he fights Conor McGregor, people are going to buy the pay-per-view. Y'all can't help yourselves because there's intrigue. When you're a fighter who has not been beaten, if you're going through a unbeaten streak, people want to see if a guy can beat you. And that's what Izzy's doing right now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's boring for you, watch something else. If it's boring for you, you gotta watch something else. Y'all should know by now. That's what I do. Like if it's a fight that I want to see, I'm not excited about that card. I just don't buy it. I don't watch it. And that's the key. But most of these pay-per-views aren't being. I heard the pay-per-views are low for all around for the UFC. People aren't really buying. They're streaming. And I believe what people want, most MMA fans, what they want overall is that they want the press conference to be exciting. They want interviews to be exciting because most of these MMA fans, UFC fans, don't even buy the pay-per-views. They're too expensive. Like how much? Like $79 for a pay-per-view. Most people aren't buying the pay-per-views. That's why they want a fighter to be a good trash talker. They want to do all these crazy gimmicks and all that stuff because what they watch is stuff that's free. They watch the press conference. They watch interviews. They watch Chael Sonnen talk shit. This is what most MMA fans are watching. The pay-per-views, most of them aren't buying the pay-per-views. That's why they need fighters to be exciting so they can get all that free content. So they can watch the embeddeds. You said, thankfully, Volk didn't play that same strategy and felt like he had something to prove. Or just Volk just fights like that. And then the thing is, Volk was not liked. Now Volk is being liked now. So everybody likes Volk now. Remember this recently, people didn't like Volkanovski. They liked Max Holloway. Like they felt he was robbed. They felt Max Holloway was robbed, so everybody hated Volk. Now everybody's starting to like Volk all of a sudden. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's not on Jared to make the fighting exciting. It is. If you know how Izzy is, if you know Izzy is the type of fighter who's a counterpuncher, it's going to take an opponent to make the fight exciting. That's why I say it's up to the opponent. Izzy's not going to ever do that. Izzy is who he is. If he tries to go in there aggressive and try to please the crowd, he's going to get knocked out somehow because you're leaving yourself open. So it's up to the opponent. We'll see, man. We'll see. His next fight is against Alex. Even that's not guaranteed to be exciting. So just realize that there's no guarantee that you're going to be pleased watching these fights. in that they're based on style matchups. I want to play this interview that Dana White did. So y'all try to say people weren't calling Anderson Silva boring. He had pissed off Dana White. You know, Dana White's always mad. Mr. Bully, Dana White.
Do you feel as though Anderson, when he fights at 185, continues to let you down?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Yeah, maybe I don't know. He's waiting for me. I just sent them to my trailer, so
For you to talk to him?
So we'll find out.
I know that's a private conversation, but what will you say to him? If you could share with us, what are some of the things?
It's a private conversation.
Is it true that you did leave in the 4th round and give the belt to Ed Suarez?
Mm-hmm. I left in the 4th round and I gave the belt to Ed and I said, you put it on him. I'm not doing it.
Do you have any interest in seeing him defend the title again, or do you think he just needs to be challenged? Because, as we said in the press conference, when he fights at 205, he's knocking guys out in the 1st round.
Yeah, I agree. Seriously, I don't know how to fix this. My head hurts like right here, right now. And I honestly, I don't know the answer. I don't know why he acted the way that he did. He comes in, and the other thing that is even more baffling is that he feels that he doesn't owe the fans an apology. Yet I'm apologizing. I didn't go in and fight like a jackass for 5 rounds. I didn't do what he did tonight. But I'm embarrassed, and I feel like I should apologize to the fans, and I feel like I owe the fans one. And like I said earlier, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to pay everybody back that, and at the same time, too, I hate to take away from the guys.
You're not going to pay everybody back. And he's like, wait.
Frankie Edgar went in there and too small and 7-1 underdog, and, beat one of the pound-for-pound best and probably the greatest lightweight to ever. So I hate to take that away from Frankie and all the other guys. DeMarcus Johnson and Brad Blackburn put on an amazing performance tonight. Munoz got, dominated in the 1st round and comes back and wins. There were a lot of great fights tonight. So, but it's always the main event that everybody's going to remember, and I will make it up to the fans.
All right, I'll pay it enough. Hopefully, I don't get this. Is Ariel Hawani's page. Hopefully, shout out to Ariel Hawani. Hopefully, I don't get strike. I just want to play a little clip. So don't strike me, Ariel. I made great remixes of you. I'll put you in a positive light. So don't strike my page. I just kind of realized that. So let me get off here. I got a strike before. So I got like 1 strike. They said 3 strikes you're out. So I don't want to strike again. Yeah, see, Dana White on this interview. This was after I think his fight with the Cote fight. He was pissed off. Everybody was pissed off at Anderson Silva after this fight. Everybody's pissed off. Dana White was saying the same thing. Like, I only want to re-sign you back. I want to cut you after that fight. And this was after a string of fights where Anderson Silva wasn't being exciting. He had a lot of, and like they said, it was he found an opponent and he solved it. He brought in Forrest Griffin. And that's when you got that highlight reel fight where he was dodging all those punches and he countered him. This is what it takes. You got to put, with those type of opponents, you got to find the right type of opponent to make the fight exciting. That's why I said it's up to the opponent. Because Izzy's not going to change. Izzy's not going to change. Why should he? Just like Anderson Silva said the same thing. Anderson Silva's like, I'm not apologizing to the fans. The fans don't deserve my apology. The way I fight is normal. It's smart, not dumb. I owe myself, my family, my friends. I owe them this, not the fans. So he don't owe the fans. A lot of fighters feel that way. They don't owe the fans. Now, if you fight for the fans, I can guarantee you, you're going to end up knocked out. And if you get knocked out too many times, the fans are going to leave you. They're going to end up rooting for another fighter who's younger, the new hot thing. We know about when you get hyped. What's his name? Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker, right? He ended up getting knocked. He was supposed to be the John Jones killer. He ended up getting knocked out, trying to impress fans, do all that crazy stuff. And then we got to see if Hamzat lives up to the hype. So If you watch the sport long enough, you'll know this happens all the time. This is nothing new. He said Izzy is boring in the same way Wonder Boy is boring. Yeah, Wonder Boy doesn't get a lot of grief. But I guess people are saying Wonder Boy ain't coming in there talking, saying that he's going to knock somebody out. So I guess that's what their explanation is going to be. But yeah, Wonder Boy, just like I seen on that tweet Tommy Toho put up, they said Valentina Shevchenko, she never got grief for being boring. Look at her fights; they're not the most exciting. They're not the most exciting, but people give her a pass because she's hot. A lot of MMA fans want to smash. That's why they give her a pass on a lot of stuff. They're like, well, it's okay. You look hot. Your fight be boring, but I ain't even looking at you fight. I'm looking at your body. So yeah, it's all right. Looking and shit. So we know what's going on. Jared kept silent most of the pre-fight stuff. Izzy kept gloating. He had to hype the fight up. Get people to buy the pay-per-views. Jared's not a talker. Jared's introverted, very introverted. And we seen that when he did that, when he had him on camera with Aljamain Sterling and Patty Pimblett. Remember that video? And Jared Cannonier was just looking at the camera. Jared's not that type of guy. He's not the type of guy that's going to do all that stuff. He's introverted. You said Wonder Boy had more finishes than Izzy. Well, I'll say Wonder Boy been in the game longer than Izzy. He's been in the MMA game longer. I think they're both kickboxers. But they're talking about what have you done for me lately? So what has Wonder Boy and Izzy done lately when it comes to finishes? Not back in the day. If you're going to be over the top with the words, all the entries. Nobody expects a crazy Gaethje type fight when watching the Izzy fight, but they do expect Izzy himself is promising the fight is going to be. I don't know, man. If you maybe a lot of y'all are new. I've been watching fights for long enough. I know when fighters say promise a fight's going to be exciting, most of the time it's not going to be exciting. So I think it's just a lot of y'all haven't been watching this game long enough. If you watch MMA and boxing long enough, fighters always talk trash about how this fight's going to be the best fight ever, or I'm going to knock this guy out, and it doesn't happen. So when Izzy says things like that, I don't really expect it to happen. He has a history of this. I don't expect it to happen. If it happens, it happens. I base it on the opponent. If it's an opponent that's going to press the action, I'm not listening to Izzy saying that this is going to be my most exciting fight. I'm going to look at the opponent and see what type of fight he's going to make it. That's what you got to base it off of. All that stuff Izzy's saying and any other fighter, he has to hype a fight up. This is called promotion, and he's promoting himself. Now he could probably promote himself as being the guy that everybody wants to see lose. He could be the next Mayweather. At the end of the day, Izzy's number one priority is to win and make as much money as possible, because you're not going to be in this game for long. There's going to come a time when he's going to start getting older. He's going to start falling off. We've seen it happen to Anderson Silva. Hopefully Izzy doesn't get to that point. He leaves before that happens. But we all know it's easier said than done. Most fighters can't stay away from the fight game. Even Anderson Silva is still in the fight game. He's boxing. Izzy isn't doing anything for anyone but himself. Yeah, that's who he should be doing it for, himself. You got to do things for yourself. If you start fighting for everybody else, then you're going to end up fucked up. People laughing at you, making memes out of you. Those fans are going to make fun of you if you get knocked out. If Izzy goes in there and tries to fight aggressive and gets knocked out, everybody's going to make fun of him. The stakes are high, especially in the internet age. I got these, they got people out here making animations like, what's his name? Foodie Lot. I can never say his name. You got people out here making remixes like me. Although I toned down a little bit. I'm not as bad as I was at first. I don't really make fun of fighters like that no more. I was doing that like back in the day. Now I try to find a way to put them in a positive light. but I can still have fun and make it funny. If you want the title, go and take it from Israel. He wouldn't. Yeah, you got to go in there and take it. Take it. If you're trying to take over a country, you got to go in there and take. You can't just go in there like recklessly. I'm just gonna go in there and take over. No, you got to be strategic. Shit, that's what the Pilgrims did when they took over America with the smallpox and shit on the blankets and pretending to be your friend and all that stuff. You got to be smart. Yeah, the fans weren't satisfied. Yeah, the fans are never excited. The fans are never satisfied. It's all crazy. Yeah, he said he's like Sean Strickland, keep running his mouth constantly pre-fight, but when the fight happens, it's just point fighting. Yeah, but unlike Sean Strickland, Izzy's winning. Sean Strickland got knocked out after talking, getting the best of Izzy in the trash talk. Yeah, because Max is forever a legend. Yeah, he is forever a legend, but I just believe if he starts losing too many times, people aren't going to watch his fights. He is a legend, but people are not going to watch his fights if he keeps losing. So I think he's not on a losing streak. He lost one. This is his third time losing a vote, but he still lost he still won his previous fights. But if he starts losing too many times, people aren't going to buy it. Yeah, Max won headline the pay-per-view. He is in the champ. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Max Holloway is always bringing exciting fights, but why can't he headline the pay-per-view? If he headlines a pay-per-view, it's not going to sell 1 million. But he's fighting like he should sell 1 million. He said Izzy has high pay-per-views because his cards are stacked. Yeah, there's a chance. Yeah, that's possible. But the main event is what sells a pay-per-view. If a card is stacked, that's going to add a couple of additional pay-per-views. That's going to make it look better. But if the main event is not something that's exciting, I don't care how stacked the pay-per-view card is. It's not going to sell 1 million. It's not going to sell a lot. Yeah, promotion and fighting are two different things. People who say Izzy is boring don't understand the technical aspects of kickboxing. Yeah, most people don't understand, and unfortunately, most people don't care. They don't care about the technical, fundamental aspects of anything. Look at WWE, WWF, right? We all know it's scripted. We all know it's fake. But I want to say butts like Adesanya, but it's not exciting. But like Triple H said, he said on First Take, it's not the most exciting wrestlers that sell. It's the ones who know how to give great promos. The talkers. Whoever could give you a great promo, those are going to be the stars in WWE, back then WWF. Not the guys who are the most exciting wrestlers. If you watch wrestling, right? I know back in the day I used to watch it. There's this group called the Hardy Boys. They're the ones who are jumping off the ladders and doing stuff like that. Even Rey Mysterio, he's very exciting. But they will never headline a pay-per-view, a WWE pay-per-view. The ones that headline were always The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and these fighters were not close to exciting. Not fighters. They were not close to being as exciting as the Hardy Boys or Rey Mysterio or fighters like that. But they always headline because they had superstar appeal. They did great promos. They did great interviews. They did everything that you need to do great besides wrestling in the ring. Those fighters who were exciting in the ring, like the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Rey Mysterio and people like that, they didn't have the promo skills, or they just didn't have the star appeal. So it's really about what you do outside the octagon and outside the ring that will determine if your pay-per-views are going to sell, not what you do inside the ring. Because I know I shouldn't compare, WWE, which is scripted to MMA, but it is similar to all those. It's similar to boxing as well because it all involves promotion, promoting yourself, getting people excited. Even if you don't do what you said, you still got them to buy the pay-per-view. So now you got to turn around and get people excited again. So Izzy will have to get people excited, but people are going to buy his next fight against Alex because now people think this guy's going to beat him, which I think can happen. Alex, he presents a lot of problems for Izzy. So Izzy doesn't have to care about his fights being labeled boring. People are going to buy this next fight. They're going to buy it. So you are completely ignoring the way Izzy himself hypes himself up pre-fight, practically begging the fans to believe he's going to put. You already explained this, but y'all just got to it. He's hyping people up. He's not going to deliver on it. It doesn't guarantee that he delivers it. He's just hyping people up so he can buy the pay-per-views. Because people know what gets people excited is not what you do in the octagon. It's more so what you do outside the octagon. Colby Covington, for an example, right? He said himself people weren't interested in him until he put on the act, until he had to become a MAGA supporter. He became that. He put that MAGA act on. He was a Donald Trump supporter and all that. That's what got people interested in Colby Covington, not anything he did in the octagon. So this is the game. They realize how the game is, and this is what you got to do. Anderson Silva wasn't well liked until he beat Chael Sonnen in the last set. He was liked, but I feel like he didn't really sell a lot of pay-per-views. No, you can say a lot about Anderson Silva. He was very exciting in the octagon, but his pay-per-views weren't selling like that. He never hit 1 million pay-per-views. The ones that hit 1 million were like, it was Brock Lesnar. The 3 highest selling pay-per-view fighters in the UFC, in UFC history: Conor McGregor number 1, Ronda Rousey number 2, and Brock Lesnar number 3. Those 3 are the highest selling pay-per-view stars in UFC history. 2 of them right now are going through like losing streaks right now. I think all of them are coming off losses right now. I doubt any of them are going to be labeled the best fighters ever. Ronda Rousey, she had a good run, but I don't think she's the best. Brock Lesnar's not the best heavyweight. And Conor McGregor, as we see, has been losing consistently lately. So despite his trash talk, he's been losing. Yeah, Anderson Silva blew people's mind the minute he walked through Lehman. That he was nothing. Yeah, people didn't really know Anderson Silva, including myself. I didn't know Anderson Silva. I wasn't really watching Pride like that. I do know he came from Pride. I think King of the Cage and other MMA organizations. Anderson Silva started off like 31 years old when he became a star. It took a while. But I remember watching that fight, and I remember Chris Lieben having a reputation of being this killer in the octagon. He was like going through everybody. And then Anderson Silva, this guy who doesn't look like he's this intimidating guy, came in there and just ran through Chris Lieben. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I was like Conor McGregor, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, this Anderson Silva guy is crazy. And I started watching his fights. That's when I became a fan. So there's probably people out there who became a fan of Anderson Silva, when he wasn't in the UFC. I didn't know him until he got to the UFC. He said after making that statement, Colby fought his heart out. Yeah, he fought his heart out. He was getting beat up pretty bad. If anybody says you got heart, when they start saying you got heart, that means you're getting beat up. That's what I used to do a comedy routine like that. I did a comedy routine. When I said if you have a reputation of people calling you, if people are saying you have a lot of heart, that means you're getting beat. You're just taking it well. You just won't give up. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want people saying I got heart, because if people are saying I got heart, that means I'm getting fucked up. Yeah, none of the Izzy haters will want to miss the possibilities of losing. Yeah, you're always gonna have haters when you're successful. That happens. But yeah, let me read a couple more and I'll be out of here. I think an hour is good enough. Well, he said, I watched the promo. He didn't say that. Wait, what did he say? Are you talking to somebody else? Oh, you talking to someone else. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. What he said, people forget. He said, does Izzy cringe lines and image appeal to younger generation? Yeah, it does appeal to the younger generation. Just like Kobe, he appeals to the younger generation. That's the key. And Naruto, that's what the popular animes are. So yes, he is appealing to younger crowd. In the long run, point fighting hurts your brand. It's about winning the money, then maybe make the fights a little bit more exciting. Well, if you're making the money, then you don't need to keep doing it. It just takes look at Mayweather. Mayweather, people booed him. They're saying you're not exciting. He didn't care. He just kept doing what he had to do. His biggest fight against Pacquiao, where he made the most money, boring fight. And then even after that, people still bought his fight when he fought against Berto. And now that kind of that was like, I don't think that hit a million. But then he fought, he'll find the right opponent. So he fought Conor McGregor and made more money. At the end of the day, people fight like that, they end up winning. So the difference between Wonderboy and Izzy is that Steven is a likable guy. Yeah, Steven says all the right things. Steven Thompson is like that guy. He's like Tim Tebow. That's all I see him as. He knows I say all the right things. He's very media trained. Steven Thompson's a media trained guy. If Steven Thompson, he'll fit perfectly in the NFL or in the NBA, or just being a politician. Someone who always says the right thing. He doesn't say anything controversial. He's not talking about politics. He's just gonna say all the right things. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I'm excited about this fight. Yeah, Wonder Boy's been losing a lot lately. I feel like he needs to fight. I want to see him fight Jorge Masvidal. That'd be a great fight. But they're gonna probably put him against somebody, a prospect they're trying to boost. All right. Well, at the end of this podcast, I'm feeling tired, feeling exhausted from talking so long. I've been on here for like an hour, over an hour. All right, I'm out of here, man. That's it. Great talking to y'all. If you want to if you want to follow my page, follow Morehouse Media, follow Maurice Spears. So look up each page, and if you want to, just a second. All right. Shit. Where's that at? Oh yeah, here it is. If you want the Cash App, show support by Cash Apping me right there. That's my Cash App. So if you want to, throw me a couple bucks, I appreciate it. This will help keep the page alive and give me some extra motivation. So I'm out of here. 4th of July. I'm gonna be working more than likely on something. So great talking to y'all. I gotta do more videos like this. I'm out.